What's up guys, Miss Pass here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and we are getting back to my roster review, this time with a new character, Kylo Ren. Now, Kylo Ren spent a long time covered in mothballs sitting on my roster at level 70 and 6 stars. Pretty much right after he got added to the game into the cantina, I went and I farmed him to 6 stars, leveled him up to the level max at the time, which was 70, and I really wasn't impressed, so he just kind of sat there. Well, after the rework and after watching a few of the other high-profile YouTubers, Arnold T101, Warrior, Mobile Gamer, all do their little Kylo reviews, the fire was relit underneath my rear, and I went and I worked on Kylo. So this footage is a little bit old. I have since taken him completely gear maxed, but Kylo Ren for the most part is a very tanky character. His speed is very average, it's a little bit above average actually, and it's very easy to take him up to high hundreds, even as high as 200 with some really good mods. His crit damage is very important to get his Outrage doing maximum damage. His potency is moderately important, and his physical crit chance is also very important. You want to make sure that your Kylo is doing massive damage, because that's what he specializes in. His basic attack is called Ragged Cut, which deals physical damage to a target enemy with a 75% chance to inflict healing immunity for 2 turns and a 75% chance to inflict damage over time for 3 turns. Now this is where the potency is a little bit important, because when he is using his Lash Out and gains Retribution, he is going to be using his basic attack, which is going to be inflicting these negative status effects. His Lash Out special ability deals physical damage to all enemies and gains Retribution for 2 turns. First Order allies and allies with advantage gain 25% turn meter. This is the ability that really makes Kylo a very important piece of your First Order synergy squad. Being able to grant turn meter to your First Order allies is incredibly important. His second special ability is called Outrage, and Outrage is the ability that gets the Zeta, and it is very powerful. It deals physical damage to a target enemy, and if Kylo has full health, inflicts stun for 1 turn. Very handy. This attack deals 75% more damage if Kylo is below full health. With the Zeta, recover protection equal to the damage dealt. This ability makes Kylo insanely useful. He is capable, without getting stun locked or ability blocked or healing immunity put on him, he is capable of just decimating targets. It's crazy. His unique is called Unstoppable. Whenever Kylo takes damage, he gains 50% defense and 15% offense for 1 turn. This stacks, by the way, and has a 50% chance to reset his cooldowns. Kylo takes reduced damage from percent health damage effects and gains 10 speed for each debuff on him. Whenever Kylo uses a special ability, he gains damage over time for 2 turns. Keep in mind that damage over time is going to be doing barely any damage to him, because he is going to take extremely reduced damage from percent health damage effects. That includes Expose, Rex's special attack. It accounts for almost everything. Now, if you're wanting to go farm your Kylo, he is found in 2 Cantina battles, Cantina Battle 4C and 6C both. Obviously, you're going to be getting better rewards from 6C. Now, Kylo Ren at Gear 11 is awesome. There's really no other word for it, guys. He gets 12 speed from the gear that you get at Gear 11, and a lot more damage. It's really impressive how much damage Kylo Ren is capable of doing now. They did a very good job with his rework, and with the addition of Zetas, Kylo Ren is now one of the most powerful characters in the game. I would venture to wager that, in my opinion, Kylo Ren is one of the most powerful characters in the game, probably one of the best choices for a Zeta. Not only is it a Zeta on one of his special attacks, which are just as useful as a Zeta on a unique ability, but it kind of renders Kylo Ren very independent. It makes him a character that you can put on pretty much any squad, regardless of the leader, and he won't necessarily make the squad infinitely better by himself, but he will often be one of the best choices for whatever empty spot you may have, and for good reason. His Outrage ability, which is the one that gets the Zeta, not only stuns when he's at 100% health, but it does incredible amounts of damage when he is below 100% health. And there are a number of ways that he can get below 100% health while still keeping protection. If he is attacked by Sith Trooper or Sith Assassin, he can lose health. If you have him on the same squad as an Emperor Palpatine, and Emperor Palpatine uses his little cackly ability that steals 5% health from everybody, then obviously he's going to lose 5% health and drop below 100% health, doing a lot more damage. Now, the added benefit of doing all that increased damage with the Zeta is that he's going to gain that much more protection back with the Zeta. So you have to kind of, I mean, you don't really have any choice on what effect you get, but it is good to keep in mind. So if you're looking to stun lock, definitely plan on using his Outrage while he's at 100% health. If you really need that extra damage, then unfortunately you may want to use his Lash Out ability, which does not give him protection but does give him retribution, so that you can, maybe lose a little bit of your protection and then wait until you get below 100% health to start using your Outrage, and obviously you can do the increased damage in that regard. The one danger there is if you're doing that, using that technique in arenas, sometimes if you lose all your protection, that makes you very, very, very vulnerable to high DPS characters that can just rip you to shreds. Now, these arena battles that I'm showcasing are a lot more fun, in my opinion, than Galactic War, and because Kylo Ren is a big piece of my arena squad right now, I am very happy that I'm able to actually bring you guys some actual arena gameplay footage from my own account instead of just doing some Galactic War gameplay, because I think we can all agree that while Galactic War is a very solid demonstration of a character's worth, sometimes it doesn't really showcase that character's value when it comes to arenas or anything like that. So I personally think that Kylo Ren is awesome. I think he's one of my favorite characters in the game right now, which is a far cry from the old mindset that I had, where, literally he sat and collected dust for over a year. I swear, it was insane. So, really, guys, if you are thinking about your first Zeta and you have a very well-geared Kylo Ren and you are not struggling to beat the heroic Rancor, and you're not necessarily struggling on heroic tank, where I will talk about Kylo Ren's value in the heroic rank in heroic tank in a moment, you may actually want to consider giving Kylo Ren your first Zeta. Not only is Kylo Ren's Zeta very flexible, as I mentioned earlier, it is very powerful. You can put it on pretty much any squad. I've run into Zeta Maul squads that have Kylo Ren as a piece. Obviously, this Zeta Vader squad has Kylo Ren Zeta as a integral piece of its team. And on Rex squads, obviously, I'm running a Rex squad and I have Kylo Ren. And then, of course, you have First Order. First Order is an obvious first choice for a squad that you want to put your Kylo Ren on. He's just a good jack of all trades character. Now, his basic attack, giving healing, immunity, and damage over time, is actually very handy, especially when you come up against nihilist squads, other enemies that have high health steal like Asajj Ventress, characters that do have protection gain like Kylo Ren. You will be able to prevent the bonus protection gain from those characters. On defense, Kylo Ren is a little bit easier to defeat. Kylo Ren will prioritize his Lash Out over Outrage, unless of course Lash Out is on cooldown. But with his unique giving him that very high chance, 50% I believe, to reset his cooldowns, Lash Out is probably not going to be on cooldown very often, especially if he's by himself against a large number of enemies. So on defense, Kylo Ren, unfortunately, will not hold his own as well as he does on offense under human control. Now, the other thing that you want to keep in mind is that Kylo Ren is going to be using that Lash Out quite a bit. So on defense, when facing a Maul squad, or even on offense when facing a Maul squad, he is very oftentimes going to be giving a lot of turn meter to the enemy squad, in the form of, if his Lash Out is dodged 5 times, that's 20% turn meter for all of the enemy Sith. Now, that can be used strategically. I have used his Lash Out purposefully on offense to put the entire enemy Sith squad into stealth so that I can target a specific Sith enemy. Now, and that's another little strategy tip that you may use if you do come up against some Zeta Maul squads, because if they're all stealthed, then you have your pick of the litter, so to speak. You can attack literally whoever you want to on the enemy squad, so that might actually help you out if you're having trouble with Maul squads, maybe you need to go out there and just start using Lash Out and put everybody into stealth so that you can take care of Maul, even if he's hiding behind that stealth. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that you cannot crit Sith while they are under stealth granted by Darth Maul's Zeta. So that's something to keep in mind, but on the bright side, it's a good way to, kind of render the stealth a little less of a pain in your butt. So, in that regard, use that technique as you will. Now, this squad that I fought, I really honestly didn't think I was going to be able to beat it, but with the lack of crit that I have stacked on my team, which, I'm going to be honest here, the only character that I really have critical strike stacked on is Kylo Ren. And that's another technique that I use to defeat Maul squads, is a little bit less crit strike on my characters. I actually was able to beat that General Kenobi lead, so that was pretty fun. That was a very interesting squad to face. Now, this is where you may want to choose Kylo Ren Zeta as one of your first Zetas if your guild is just now getting into heroic tank. A well-geared Kylo Ren with a Zeta on his Outrage can solo Phase 1 of the tank raid. Now, he doesn't solo it all in one go. That is impossible right now. However, with good technique and a lot of situational awareness, you do not want to lose track of the enrage counter against General Grievous. You can solo phase 1. Now, the idea is to use Lash Out for the first several abilities, the first few times. You're going to use Lash Out to get your Kylo Ren under 100% health. So you're going to want to get General Kenobi, or no, sorry, General Kenobi. You're going to want to get General Grievous and all of his little allies to take out all of Kylo's protection. And if you can get Kylo down to like 50% health, that's perfect, because he does have health steal built in, so he will slowly regain his health. If you can get him down to like 50% health, that's perfect, because then once you start using Outrage, he's going to start doing a lot of damage. Now, once General Grievous is at about 5 moves to his enrage counter, you want to start trying to escape, because if RNG is not on your side, then you are potentially facing instant death. Because if that enrage counter hits, Kylo is done for, which is another thing that you want to keep in mind. I always do my phase 1 attacks with Kylo Ren in airplane mode. I turn on airplane mode on my device when I'm doing phase 1, because should I mess up, miss an enrage counter or something of that sort, and Kylo Ren dies, I am protected. I can force close my app and reload the game and get back into it and actually give it another shot. Basically, the only thing that I lose is any damage that anybody else is already doing, because we have quite a few Zeta Kylos in my guild, so phase 1 takes like 15 minutes tops for heroic tank raids. So if your guild is knocking out phase 1 fast, then you're gonna want to definitely pay close attention to what's going on, so that you don't lose a lot of damage, because you can do potentially with a lot of other people in your guild, you doing phase 1 at the same time, you can generally count on getting around 500 to a million damage, 500,000 to a million damage on a good phase 1 chain of attacks. So that's kind of the technique there for phase 1. You want to try and get your Kylo below 50% health, and then just start outraging, and definitely keep an eye on the enrage counter, because you want to get Kylo out of there before the enrage counter hits. That about does it for my roster review on Kylo Ren. I think he is a very solid first choice for a Zeta if you have him geared and ready to go. However, if you are not quite ready for him, definitely get him geared up, because he makes a very, very, very good top choice for a Zeta. If you missed my last roster review, it was on Count Dooku. You can get to that video by clicking the link on the screen. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and I will catch you later.